Many times, people get confused about some basic results in chess. Things like the 50 move rule, walkover, and insufficient material often perplex the general chess crowd. But not to worry, because in today's video, we will be looking at every possible outcome of a chess game. Let's begin. Number 1. Checkmate. This happens when one side is giving check to the opponent king and the opponent has no legal moves. The side delivering the checkmate wins. Number 2. Flag or timeout. This happens when the clock time of one of the players reaches 0. The person who gets flagged loses. Number 3. Resignation. This is when one of the sides surrenders to the opponent, and obviously the opponent wins. This is probably the most common outcome of a chess game, especially at the highest levels. Number 4. Walkover. This is when one of the players doesn't show up to the game or doesn't make the first move if it's an online game. Although the player who doesn't show up loses, there is usually no change in rating. So a walkover is denoted by plus minus if black didn't show up and minus plus if white didn't show up. And for every other result, 1-0 if white wins and 0-1 if black wins. Let's move on to some of the draws. The first kind of draw is stalemate. This is when the side to move has no legal moves but is not in check either. So the game is drawn. The 50 move rule. This happens when neither side has moved a pawn or captured anything for the last 50 moves. The result is a draw which either player can claim. So this kind of rule is there to prevent the game from going on endlessly, where one side thinks he can convert the advantage but in fact fails to do so within 50 moves. Number 3. Threefold repetition. This happens when the same position has repeated itself 3 times, not necessarily consecutively, with the same side to move. If the side to move doesn't wish to play any alternative move than repeating the position again, then they can claim a draw. Perpetual check. This is when one side is continuously giving check to the opponent king, which the opponent cannot escape. It is similar to threefold repetition, but in perpetual check, the position doesn't have to repeat itself, although it usually does. Draw offered and accepted. When either side offers a draw at any point of the game, unless there is a rule defining the minimum limit for accepted draws, and the opponent accepts, then the game is drawn. In some tournaments, there are rules like you can't accept a draw before 40 moves or 20 moves or 30 moves. So if there are rules like that, then obviously this won't apply to the moves before the limit. But after the limit, if a draw is offered and accepted, then the game is obviously drawn. Draw offers should be made while making your own move before pressing the clock. Timeout with insufficient material. If one side gets flagged, but the opponent doesn't have sufficient material to checkmate, the game ends in a draw. If the game is drawn, it is denoted by half point each. So let's say that your opponent has only a king, whereas you have a king, pawn and a bishop, but for some reason you time out or flag. You won't lose because technically it is not possible for your opponent to checkmate you, but you did time out, so you don't get the point either. That is why the game is drawn. And finally, the case where neither player shows up. It is denoted by minus minus and both sides get 0 tournament points. Well, that's it for today, friends. Please make sure to like and subscribe so I can keep making more videos like this. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.